what do you think I've been doing the last few weeks? I've been trying to find investors so that we can pay off Vinny, but nobody wants in. Apparently it's bad business, or our show's a train wreck, or a dumpster fire. I don't know, I keep hearing those words. Hi, I'm Gruffus. Welcome to Puppet Tabletop, and today we're going to be taking a look at Agent Avenue. No, seriously, there was one investor who told me he would rather eat a roll of pennies than invest in our show. Have you ever wondered what a Cold War spy thriller would be like if all of the characters were creepily proportioned anthropomorphic animals pulled from a borderline perverted deviant art page? Me neither. But regardless, Agent Avenue is going to show us whether we're ready or not, so here we go. In Agent Avenue, two players are going to take on the role of neighbors who are both working for opposing spy agencies. You've both been suspicious that perhaps a rival spy might be somewhere in your neighborhood, and now you're trying to catch the other spy before they catch you. How, you ask? Well, by having your meeple sneak up behind their meeple, I guess. At the beginning of the game, you'll set the two meeples on their home spaces and then shuffle the agent deck. Then each player draws 4 cards from the agent deck. These cards represent your connections, helping you try to track down the opponent. On your turn, you'll select 2 cards from your hand to play. You'll choose one to play face up and one to play face down. Your opponent then chooses whether they want to take the face up card or the face down card. And once they've selected, you take the other card back and you both execute your cards at the same time. Green means you move forward that many spaces, while red means you move backwards that many spaces. And after you've executed the card, you just keep it in front of you for the rest of the game. That's because Agent Avenue is also a kind of set collecting game in a way. If the card that you were forced to execute is the second copy of that card that you have, then you now execute the second icon listed on it. If it's the third copy you have, you execute the third icon. So now that you know pretty much all the rules, how do you win this thing? Well, there's actually 3 ways that you do it. As I mentioned earlier, you can win by moving your meeple along the board, catching up to your opponent, or passing them. However, there's also going to be 2 cards in the game that can help you win. The first is the Code Breaker. If you ever collect 3 of them, you automatically win the game. Second is the Daredevil. Give 3 of these to your opponent, and they lose the game, aka you win the game. And yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to know in order to play the standard version of Agent Avenue. It's a pretty simple game. Pretty simple. Not sure what else to say. You guys want to go get lunch? So, what did I like about Agent Avenue? First, I just really like how easy this game is to just bring with you and break out. In my opinion, this game is one that I would classify as an airport game. These are games that are compact, easy to set up, and they don't have a massive playtime. You can get through the entire setup process and play a game in under 10 minutes, and probably even way less than that if everyone knows what they're doing and depending on what cards are played. This game feels like it was built with the traveler in mind. Also, on a positive note, the whole I split, you choose mechanic feels really cool the first time you experience it. It's incredibly simple to get the hang of, and it adds a fun layer of social interaction where you're staring at your opponent across the table wondering, how are they trying to screw me over? Does my opponent want me to take that hidden card? Or do they know that I would know not to take that hidden card, in which case I should take the card? I don't know. It's just a fun little mental spiral to go down, and it's a pretty enjoyable experience when you first go through it. And now, we can get to my favorite part about this game. It's box time! With these small boxes, I usually don't expect much. A lot of the time it's a trade-off between having a small box and having space to organize everything within that box. It's pretty normal for small boxes to just be empty on the inside and everything just kind of gets piled in there. So imagine my surprise when Agent Avenue actually had a nice built-in card divider. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it does keep everything nice, snug, and secure, and it's more than I was expecting in this tiny box. Overall, solid box with a decent storage solution. So, what did I not like? Alright, so here's the thing. This game has been fed hardcore through the board game hype machine. Like everywhere I look, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, long-form YouTube videos about the game. Everybody's gushing about it like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Every time I thought I got away from it, another video would pop up in my feed being like, Agent Avenue, It's the best. It felt like the algorithm gods were working overtime to convince me that this game was gonna blow my frickin' mind. So much so that when I saw the game at my local shop for 24 bucks, I gritted my teeth, pulled out my wallet, went home with the game, and I can now report, after multiple playthroughs of Agent Avenue, this game is pretty mid. Like, very underwhelmingly mid. I don't know if my expectations were just too high because of how hard the hype machine had pumped up this game for me, but I just didn't really enjoy it. And everybody that I played this with had the exact same reaction to it when it was done. We'd finish, I'd ask what their thoughts were, and they'd all say, yeah, it was okay. And I was right there with them, feeling, yeah, that was a game, I guess. And I know I wasn't the only person that felt like the game had been overhyped too. I have a buddy who was also stuck in an algorithmic hole that was telling him, Agent Avenue, you gotta play Agent Avenue. And after we sat down and played it, he literally had the exact same reaction I did. He went, yeah, it was okay. But yeah, so while everybody online is raving and screaming about how great this game is, every single person that I played this with just came away with the same opinion that the game is just okay. So with that preliminary information out of the way, let me explain why. First, I'll get my own bias out of the way. I'm not a big fan of the anthropomorphic animal theme a lot of the time, and in this case, Agent Avenue is probably one of the worst offenders. For a game themed around spies and espionage, almost none of the card art reflects that. Practically all of the art just looks as if it was ripped out of some questionable Steam bargain bin dating simulator game. Except the pigeon. The pigeon's really cool, I like the pigeon. Okay, but anyway, now that that's out of the way, into the more concrete stuff. While I did enjoy the I split, you choose mechanic, without other engaging mechanics to accompany it, the game goes stale really quick. Typically, by the second playthrough, the mechanic had lost a lot of its novelty, and it just felt a lot less fun to engage with moving forward. And this definitely wasn't just my opinion, there were other people that I played with that said this exact same thing to me. And I think it's just because the game only has that one mechanic, so it's doing all of the heavy lifting. Another issue that I experienced is that the game follows a pretty predictable arc. Either one player gets steamrolled right out of the gate and the game ends prematurely, or one of the players gets one card away from winning because of the Codebreaker or Daredevil cards. This situation results in the disadvantaged player typically having to make the same decision every turn to prevent the win condition from triggering for the other player. And it basically just drags out the entire game. And as the game drags out, it feels like the fun elements of the game start to fade and they're just replaced with a logical process of elimination. I've had a few games that did feel like there was a clever back and forth and things didn't drag out more than they needed to, but in all honesty, those were super rare. The majority of the time was one of those first two scenarios that I described. Another thing worth mentioning is that the game does come with an advanced mode. It includes black market cards that you can acquire during the game that give you special powers. However, I find that these powers just tend to make the game more swingy than it already was. There's also a 3 and 4 player variant included in the rules. I didn't include this at the beginning of the review because, well, it's basically identical to the 2-player mode in every way. It basically divides the players into teams and has them splitting the work of a 2-player game. In my opinion, it feels pretty pasted on. The higher player counts just really didn't feel like a natural fit for a game that was already shaky at 2 players. And lastly, probably the biggest of all the issues for me, is the $24 price tag on this thing. It just unfortunately did not feel worth it at all to me. For that price, all you're really getting is a tiny board the size of an index card, 2 meeples, and a deck of cards. And that big price tag wouldn't be so bad if the experience inside offered a lot of replayability, but it really doesn't. Times are pretty tough right now, not just for people in the board game space, but pretty much like all over the world. So, you know, we gotta be kind of careful about what we spend our money on. Unless you're rich, in which case I would love to speak with you. I have a copious amount of debt that I owe a violent octopus, and I could really use your help paying that off. But for me, it really just kind of felt not worth it when I compared the price against games like Spots or Targi, which in my opinion offer superior experiences for similar or cheaper prices. Honestly, I think if I could go back in time, I probably would have just spent the money on a sandwich from Jersey Mike's or something. Hashtag bring back the Reuben, seriously. If you work at Jersey Mike's and you can see this, bring back the pastrami Reuben. I need it. I need it so bad. That's good, that's good. Hi, as you know, we're sponsored by Splorgle Blast, and well, we really need their sponsorship money more than ever right now. For those of you who are new here, I owe a lot of money to an octopus who, well, he's gonna kill me if I don't pay him. So, yeah, this Splorgle Blast endorsement is pretty much the only thing keeping me alive at the moment. So I'm begging you, please, you gotta buy Splorgle Blast, okay? Please, you just gotta buy it. If they stop sponsoring us, I'm dead, okay? I'm dead. They're gonna kill me. I don't wanna die. I don't wanna die.
Splorgle Blast! Never let the party die!
Now, for the solo mode review, please welcome our resident solo reviewer, Mortimer.
Hey, Griffiths.
So how's the solo mode?
No, there's no solo mode. But, anyway, we finished all that Halloween stuff. What are we gonna do to pay back Vinny?
You remember De Worm, right?
Who?
De Worm, remember? Nod once if you're gonna help me. I am De Worm. Oh, thank you so much, De Worm. Is there anything that I need to do in the meantime, or? I am De Worm. I still can't understand you, so I'm just gonna take that as a no. I am De Worm.
Oh yeah, the vaguely European-sounding worm, right?
Yep, that's the guy. Anyway, he said that he's got some dirt on Vinny and he'll be here in a week to share it with us, so I figure, we'll just wait and see what he's got.
That's the whole plan? We're just gonna sit around and wait for the worm?
No, it's not the worm, it's the worm.
We're gonna die, aren't we?
So that's Agent Avenue. It's a light and just pretty okay game. Overall, I think the staleness of the core gameplay loop, the lack of replayability, and the price compared to other similarly sized games just kinda made this one a miss for me. There's just tons of other games in this price range and weight class that I would much rather be playing. But who knows, maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe other people are getting something out of it that I'm just not. I really just can't justify keeping this game in my collection when there's so many other games that I'd rather play. So yeah, Agent Avenue. It's just okay. Well, that's gonna do it for this one. As always, thanks for watching, and remember to shop at your local board game store if you can. Hey Shelbert, your dad owns a real estate company, right? You think he'd be interested in investing in our show?